Okay.
I've always seen the salary go south. Like I hate salary.
We are going to Disney World today. Alex is going to be running shop.
I don't want these guys getting sick.
I appreciate it. They'll get through it. They'll be fine.
That's what we're dealing with right now.
Okay. It was a mess. It is stressful. I feel guilty.
Use your best judgment. We're all watching it. When there's nothing to it but to do it. The situations.
60% of businesses will fail in their first 3 years. I'm Mike Andes, and I'm on a mission to fix this. I know the fear, and I felt their pain. For the next 30 days, these owners will be sweating it out while trying to avoid becoming another statistic on this season of Business Boot Camp. One of the most stressful things about being a business owner is when you one day have to leave the business for a few days or a week.
We are going to be gone all next week. Alex is going to be running shop.
Will and Laryssa are going to Disney World for an entire week and leaving the whole business for the very first time to Alex, their general manager.
They're going to be running our full operations while we are on vacation.
Let's see if Alex is able to keep the business afloat or if things fall apart, because this is when things fall apart, when the business owner is away.
Just woke up, just got done packing up the vehicle with our bags this morning, and we are headed off to the airport because we are going to Disney World today. Alrighty guys, we made it to Tampa, Florida. If there was a second state that we lived in, it would more than likely be the state of Florida. I was thinking a lot about this on the flight over here, but I think as business owners, sometimes, we struggle, I do a lot, with taking vacation and, leaving operations and stuff like that. It is stressful. I feel guilty like leaving because it's like our little baby, it's our little business, and so I do feel somewhat guilty anytime that we do take a vacation. I mean, we have a great team, they're phenomenal, I have full faith and confidence in them. However, it's just I still feel guilty about leaving and just not being there, right, to put any fires out that come up and things like that. So it gets better, I think, as the trip goes on. I try to think about it less, just because you're in the routine of always kind of working hard and running forward and everything. But it's a struggle sometimes. So, but I know they'll get through it. They'll be fine. Last thing, actually, I want to tell you before we head out and get the rental car. I am actually going to get to see one of my great friends that I served with. He was a sergeant, an NCO in the United States Army, paratrooper, jumped out of airplanes just like I did, and his name is Tyler Hart, aka Sergeant Hart. He had a huge impact on my life, just a super positive, great person. We were in Iraq together, down in Baghdad. We served out there for 10 months in a combat zone together, so obviously we share that connection as well. So I'm gonna be able to see him. It's gonna be a great time, and I'm looking forward to it. Everybody say what's up.
What's up?
What's up?
Guys have already been dispatched. We did the Monday morning meeting. Things were a little bit crazy this morning. I was out of town until about 1 a.m. this morning. Had to go pick up a new vehicle. We're expecting rain. It's really cold outside. The cold weather came in over the weekend. We're expecting rain today. I am keeping a close eye on it. That's really the only concern for the day. I'm watching it, they're watching it, and if the rain really starts coming in, I don't want these guys getting sick. I don't want to risk chance of hypothermia. I told them, use your best judgment. We're all watching it. Want them staying, safe. As if we have to push these mows back again to tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm optimistic. These guys are gonna be great. I look like a disaster, but hey, it's only Monday. So one of the very many hats I wear here is maintenance, repair, and make sure everything stays right. Spray rig failed on me on Friday. The push button decided it didn't want to be a button anymore. But I need to see if it's the button that failed or if it was something else. So I have the button. All I'm going to do is a trusty voltmeter. So I put it on continuity testing right there. Probes, one on one end, one on the other. And if I hear a beep, button's good. So we're good to go. So it's something else. So that's what we're dealing with right now. We got weather moving through. periods of rain, no rain. It's not too bad yet. TJ only has 6 houses left on his route. Levi has his next 2 houses he has to get done. I am preparing for when this starts getting heavier, probably in the next hour or 2. But that's what we're looking at. Got rain coming. It's Texas in the fall. Wait 5 minutes, it'll change. Hopefully for the better.
Getting a few updates from Alex back in Texas. Rumor has it that he's still alive. He's hanging in there. They got some cold weather out there, some cold rain, some freeze. And we're out here in Florida. Palm trees behind me, sun shining. So I wanted to touch up on something that I've read recently in a book that I'm reading, and it talks about the stress test for your business. So when you're in a pivotal moment where you're growing your business and it can almost sustain without you once you get your standard operating procedures and everything in place, there's something called a stress test that you can do to the business, which is kind of what we're doing right now with us being in Orlando. What the stress test is you want to see if it can operate without you. That's when you'll really start to see a lot of like the cracks in the business, and to make sure, you know, everything is kind of running smoothly without you and stuff like that. So the way that it's kind of designed is you basically leave your business and kind of not answer any calls or texts for a whole day. Any kind of fires that come up, issues, situations, things like that, you kind of just let them happen. And then you kind of come back the next day, figure out what went well, what didn't go well, and then kind of fix those cracks, issues, areas, any questions that people may have. You kind of fill in the blanks there. Once you kind of smooth that out for a day where you could leave for an entire day and the business kind of still runs without you, then you go for a week and similar things. So like yesterday, I was getting a little bit of updates from our crew. I'm almost like, I'm not trying to respond immediately right away because I want them to be able to figure things out without us and be that decision maker. So that way we don't always have to be there to make that decision for them. And at times they're going to have to use their own discretion to make a good judgment call. And so that's kind of what we're doing. This is a really good stress test for our business through this business boot camp to see really how will that location and the personnel that we have there kind of react when issues and things come up. So, but they're doing fantastic. There hasn't been any like major things that have came down the pipeline. I think they had some weather on Monday.
12:49, and it's been cold for the day. Back at 1:30, temperature started tanking. Even though the rain had cleared and there was a hole, it was very, very, very short-lived. And we are in rain. It's been raining for the last hour now, and it's dropped about 5-6 degrees. And it's not worth the guys getting sick and being out in the weather. However, they did kill it. There was only 12 mows that did not get done, so they will be easily finished tomorrow.
Jim from New Again Home Wash is struggling to stay busy during the slow period of the year. And like many seasonal businesses, is doing scrappy work just trying to stay busy. He's doing Christmas lights. He's going and checking out a clogged drain at his church. He's just trying to stay busy.
I don't even do that as a service, but I'd be glad to do that for you.
But I'm concerned because of his lack of execution when it comes to the things that we talked about last week. We talked about making a Facebook page, posting on Facebook groups, making a Nextdoor account.
But I can almost guarantee if you get in 5 to 10 local Facebook groups and onto Nextdoor, I really think that we'll get a job a day really just in that.
I'm just not seeing the follow through that I'd like to see at this early in the boot camp.
We've got about half a dozen things to do today, and none of it involves normal jobs. I think this is probably out of my league.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. I think it's one of those where it's worse than we think.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think Roto-Rooter would do a fantastic job.
Okay. Be sure that we could just spray that with high pressure and it could free the line.
I mean, since they're both the same service, I would say see what Roto-Rooter gives you as a quote and go from there, because I think this is one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, I can try that or do it, and then it's worse than it is. I have no idea what to do next.
Okay.
I appreciate you thinking of us, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll check the schedule and get back to you.
Okay.
We're gonna walk around the front here. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day. Ooh, tragedy narrowly averted.
He doesn't want the whole church washed, does he? Good.
That's probably good. Cut. Last year, my son and I hung Christmas lights on our kid's piano teacher. Real simple house, just a one-story rancher, and that went really well. And it was a good, decent-paying job and everything. And she's ready for us to do that again tomorrow. Actually, her daughter evidently is interested in getting lights put on their house too in Spartanburg. So that's where we're at midday. Things are going well, and just really thankful for the opportunities Claire and I are having to get out and do what we're doing. I love where God has us.
So this week, were we able to get on any of the local boards or anything like that?
Not in depth like we wanted to. With Nextdoor, I did get my verification card in the mail. Now I can interact and make posts. Facebook, not too much on that end either. My wife and I, have 2 accounts, and there's the connection issue with the business thing, but we are working towards a resolution with that because Facebook won't get back to us after multiple attempts to change the business name in Meta.
Could you just create a new account?
Yes, we're just going to create a new one off my Facebook account and go from there because the old business account was on our joint Facebook account. So it'll be great.
Cool. And was this week pretty busy then, regardless, in terms of this work? Or
We had a total of 4 jobs, which, that's good. They weren't 4 big jobs. So, the revenue isn't up to 1 job a day, 500 a day. For having 4 jobs the week before Thanksgiving, that's pretty good.
All right, yeah. I think the biggest thing, if we can get this week is just getting it on the Facebook, posting on 10 to 15 groups, doing the same thing on Nextdoor in your local area. That'd be great because if you get the verification today, you should be able to start posting within a couple of days or even right away. I don't know how it is now.
I will say a guy reached out to me today once I logged onto Facebook about, hey, I need you to soft wash my house and driveway. So that was good.
And you hadn't even posted anything.
Nope, nothing. I changed my profile pics to, profile and background pics to stuff from this week. And
that's good.
People are like, whoa, nice photo and all that.
Yeah, so I think that'll be the huge key and unlock on the marketing side. I really believe that's going to solve the whole 1 job a day thing. And then we'll have other issues we got to actually address.
I'm honestly a little disappointed that Jim did not get everything set up with the Facebook group. I understand with Nextdoor, you have to get verified and the postcard has to come in the mail. But for Facebook, you can literally create a new profile and be posting on local Facebook groups within a matter of an hour or 2. And so I'm a little disappointed because ultimately that top of the funnel, that sales equation has to be fixed before a lot of these other issues are dealt with. And we're already through week 1 of the boot camp. So often the times I see entrepreneurs fail not because of a lack of planning, but a lack of execution against that plan. And that's what I hope to not see with Jim going forward, is that he takes the plans that we've been given and actually executes on them, gets things done.
But, I have some little debts that are very important to pay off and just the cash flow to be able to get to that.
Everyone always has these problems there's debts or there's, I can't get the truck done or whatever it might be, or even equipment. Sometimes it'll happen, same thing. But ultimately, the top of the funnel is sales. And if there's a flaw with that, everything else down the line is going to be affected, right? I think, obviously we have the long-term vision of, getting the website built. We can take the videos you've even been shooting this past week or 2 and put together a background video for you for the website that'll just look incredible. I'm not concerned about long-term, 3 to 6 months. I'm not concerned even about, a couple months down the road once we're on Facebook and Nextdoor. I really believe what's nice about that is it's almost immediate. As soon as you post, as soon as you start doing that, it's just almost immediate work.
Can't wait.
And that solves so many of the other problems, below that.
Hey, we're going into this O'Reilly because I bought this radiator last year for the Ram, and it was sold to me as the correct replacement, and it turns out it wasn't. It's not supposed to have that extra cap on the top of it, and it caused me nothing but problems while it was installed, and I just got the correct replacement installed a week or so ago, and I'm not bothered by it. I look at it like it was my mistake, but anyway, we'll see if they'll take this back and give us some kind of prorated refund or something. Lord willing, we'll see. Warranty radiators beyond 1 year.
Beyond a year?
Yep.
Says limited lifetime, which means we could warranty it once. If I can find a receipt, I should be able to warranty it. Was it bought at this store?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Any particular reason you're recording that?
Yeah, it's for a business boot camp challenge. If that's okay with you guys, it has nothing to do with the radiator.
Dom, you good with that?
Yeah, I don't care.
Good to go.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm 99% sure I bought it from here.
I'm back 3 years and I'm not finding a radiator.
kidding. Okay.
No problem. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Thanks. So that's the thing with me and like receipts. I'm not good at saving receipts. I need to go to QuickBooks though and use it so that all my receipts are in there, because it was definitely a business purchase for our business truck. I mean, I may as well go next door to Advance and see if maybe I purchased it there, because I 100% don't remember. Just see if it's on record. Before I bring it in, can you look up and see if I bought a radiator from this store a year ago by my phone number?
You did.
Okay.
Do you know if it had been with the filler neck or without?
It's got one on there, and that's one of the things they said it shouldn't have had that on there.
Did you install it?
Yes.
Because it's been on there a year.
Right.
Okay, the only thing you got with us, it says radiator cap. I thought it was the radiator. I just seen radiator.
Okay, no problem.
But this would have been the two numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That way, whatever store, if you can figure out which one you got it from,
Yeah.
you'll know.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.
All right. I knew that radiator was from O'Reilly, not Advance, but they can't find it next door in their system at O'Reilly, so they said I'll have to find the receipt. I'm gonna go back in and just ask. It's not even in the box. It was a mess.
Hey boot campers, it's Mike Andes, and if you own a lawn care or landscaping business, I'd like to invite you to Landscape Summit 2023, happening in January of this coming year. It's the event of the year for anyone that's in the green industry, and you're gonna be hearing from speakers that have all ran lawn care and landscaping businesses that are 7, 8, and even 9-figure companies. It's gonna be an incredible event that you wanna bring your spouse, your managers, and your employees and team to get the year started off on the right foot. Book it today, go to mikeandes.com/summit.
All right, team. So I just want everybody to know this is gonna be the new standard around town of what the landscaping should look like. Right here. Nice, cut, clean, and beautiful. Let's get it done. Are actually signing out of the hotel right now, but I wanted to kind of share with you guys a story. So unfortunately I did not get any footage with Tyler. He actually was unable to come out yesterday to meet up with us again. It was really interesting that when we were together, we were kind of sharing stories back and forth, but the last time that him and I were actually together was we were in Baghdad, Iraq, and it's crazy because we were literally like walking down the streets of Baghdad with our M4 carbine assault rifles and just in a combat zone, to where, you know, when the sirens go off, that means like there's either incoming fire or a drone or something like that's kind of overhead. But like I just remember I think it was like 100 feet or so, they had like bunkers that you actually would run to when you heard the alarm. So it was just an interesting feeling walking through the streets of Disney and Universal Studios and everything, that 4.5 years ago we were in a combat zone in Iraq. Much better place today, but really cool stories. It's really cool. 4.5 years later, we're in this magical kingdom, magical place of happiness, and it's just a much different environment. So definitely glad to be here.
While Will and Laryssa are enjoying Disney World, let's check in with Alex and see if he can keep the business afloat while they're gone.
It did get a little cold last night. First ice of the season.
Today went really smooth. Met with a couple awesome clients. We got a new client, first time Mo's gonna be tomorrow. Wrapping up for today, going through doing P4P. I woke up sick this morning. I've just been struggling through the day. Woke up this morning, the spray rig was a little frozen. After last night, gonna take a couple extra added precautions tonight. Temperatures are gonna get down to around 27, 28 degrees. But apart from that, Elizabeth and I have been doing great. You know, not much communication between us, but when the questions do come up, we knock it out.
LLC headquarters, which technically isn't our headquarters anymore because it moved to Alex's house. But Alex and Stephanie actually picked us up last night to bring us home. So we're super grateful for that. Through conversation, there was a few things that came up while we were gone, but nothing major. So they were able to run operations really, really good. And that is a testimony to kind of the SOPs and policies and standard operating procedures that I've been kind of creating. They were awesome. I mean, Elizabeth was crushing it, answering phones. It's really cool because like I would log into the email account and there wouldn't be any like unread emails. And I'm like, dang, like obviously they're still back here working, getting things done operationally, and it's like really cool to be able to go on vacation and like literally still get paid. It wasn't always like that. Obviously for the first 3 years, we like hustled and bustled. We were kind of that bottleneck, single point of failure. So like, and that's how it is like when you're in the beginning, but it's like, you know, you can't just go on vacation because you are the business.
So tell me how the week went. I know we got a couple things to follow up in terms of deciding about the second location and kind of the overall structure of that. But how did the week go overall?
Yeah, so it went really good. Obviously, we were on vacation for this last week, so actually business ran pretty smooth. There wasn't any major fires that came up. Alex was able to handle it, and I probably worked for like 20 minutes, you know, at a time. So it went well, but obviously there's some fine tuning with the hiring systems and other systems that we have to really kind of fine tune to really remove ourselves from the daily operations per se. So Laryssa and I, we sat down. And I believe that what we want to do is really build a business that operates without us. So I think if we just figure out how to have location one run without us, you know, hopefully we can build that kind of blueprint and then get our like pay structure right. And then just those last few like systems down, I think we'll be able to kind of go ahead and then duplicate that in the future.
And would your goal for next year for the first location mostly be raise prices, bring close ratio down, increase profits, or you still think you can grow that one alongside starting the second one?
Yeah, so we're really leaning towards your advice of like just completely flipping the switch, turning it to pure profit mode, literally staying at 650, 700,000 and just really getting that bottom line and then really allowing that thing to run by itself. Our close ratio is 26.5%. That's for this whole year. We sent like 30,000 flyers out this year. We did like a lot of marketing and stuff like that. The other thing that makes us a little different than like your guys' model is we require all of our reoccurring customers to have fertilizing and weed control. So we don't do mow only, you know, but I really like the idea of staying at 650, 700, maybe just not even like increasing prices next year if just like 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 4 customers book. And then maybe raising prices on our old customers that we've had for like since like the beginning. And then if some of them drop, then we can fill it in with new customers, you know.
How did you grow? Like you must have got a ton of leads because if you're only closing 26% and you grew like what was 2021 for you?
365,000.
Yeah, man, you doubled. Good for you. What that tells me though is that you have a high value per customer and your attrition's lower because you have that barrier in the upfront, right? So you're exactly right. It's a different model. Like us, it's like a get them in the door, entry level service, and then we'll upsell them down the road. You basically require additional services up front, which is going to keep your close ratio lower, but you're going to keep them longer and the lifetime value of that customer is greater. So that's why you're able to grow, like double your business with a 26% close ratio. Because typically I hear 26% close ratio and I'd be like either cut prices or like there's a big issue with follow up and a lot of other things.
I'm really happy that Will was able to execute on what we talked about last week in the boot camp. And that was really getting clear in terms of what he wanted from the business and whether or not he was going to grow it to 2 million per location, or if he was going to make the current location more profitable, refine the services, and ultimately raise prices so he can make a very profitable location. Because I was concerned. Honestly, I was concerned with starting a new location and trying to grow the first location. I'm happy he made that decision, but more importantly, I'm glad that he did it by bringing all the stakeholders and key decision makers, i.e. Alex, his admin person, as well as his wife. So often at times businesses fail because those people are not aligned, especially a significant other and other people that really affect you as the entrepreneur. Get them on the same page. If they disagree with you, walk through things. Disagree, scream at each other if you need to, but get on the same page. And so you know the alignment of what you want the business to become is going in the same direction.
It's really interesting. The fact that you're able to grow double the business and at 26% is phenomenal. It tells me you have a lot of leads. I'd be really really interested to see what happens when we don't do the every door direct mail and you just lean more on Google and you spend less, because you might find you just get just as many leads because now you have brand awareness, you have the Google reviews and all the rest of it. Then it's a matter of like, you might actually want your close ratio to end up being more like 18% by raising your prices. A lot of people will be like, well, if your close ratio is 26%, you shouldn't raise prices. I'm not really concerned about that. I'm looking at the fact that you doubled in business at a 26% close ratio. Then the next caveat to that is, what you don't want to do is have so many leads coming in that it costs a lot just to get the estimates out. And so by having a too low of a close ratio, even though on paper you look profitable, just the cost of getting the estimates out is a lot. If you could somehow figure this number out, and that is, what is your close ratio for weed control and mowing versus project-based work? The reason I'm asking that is because we got to determine which one, or if we're going to raise prices on one of them next spring.
All right, it's time to check in with Jim and see if he can get a refund for this old radiator that went out, and he doesn't have a receipt for it. We've got to try to get a refund.
We just went next door to Advance. The first spot we were in was O'Reilly, and they said to come back with a receipt. Well, I knew I had purchased the radiator either here or Advance, and then a radiator cap at one or the other. We're back at O'Reilly's now. The man here said to come back with a receipt. Well, you know how that is. I don't have a receipt from a year ago. I at least know that I didn't buy the radiator next door. So I'm gonna go back in and just ask, since we're here and there's extra time in the day today, I'm just gonna ask him if maybe there's another way to search and see what he says. But I did go next door because I couldn't remember where I got which. And I got the cap over there, and I bought the radiator, I'm pretty sure from here now, because I knew I went to both stores. I remember getting the radiator and being like, there's a cap one here that's supposed to be here, and it's not even in the box.
Could you
So I
check
had to
and
come
see if
back
we
and
have a
get
power
one.
steering pump, brother?
Okay. It was a mess.
I can look it up and find a part number, and maybe look through our system with the part number.
Like that's the one with the filler neck? 432514.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, I'm not finding anything. Was it paid with a power screen?
9999. Probably.
Alright, what's your card ending in?
Man, that's even tougher than finding the receipt.
I think I found the receipt, but it was done on a card, and I won't be able to. This is too big of a purchase for me to put it back and override it. I would need that card originally used purchase.
Like the number, the last four?
The last four would be the best way to confirm it.
Yep, that's right.
Did you buy coolant hoses, hose clamps, and everything like that with it, or was it just a radiator by itself?
Yeah, I think so. So they found it, and they're gonna take it back. So I'm just grabbing the radiator.
63.
Thanks.
That's one.
Thanks.
And you're all set now.
I appreciate you refunding it because.
Yeah, that's no issue. Then that would be your actual receipt, just in case.
Thank you. That thing gave me problems for months, man. Okay, thanks. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So that worked out. I'm thankful. Today we're at a customer's house who we've done house washing before, and today she wants us to trade this for these. Putting up Christmas lights on this customer's house. We did this job last year for her, and this is the customer who referred us to her daughter. We did that quote yesterday with her son-in-law. I don't even do that as a service, but I'd be glad to do that for you.
Okay, are you doing her house?
Yep.
Okay,
This will be her second year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so are you thinking just the gutter line?
Yeah, basically just that, and then up there, and then maybe like on that side of the garage, like or like when you actually pull it.
Okay, cool. That should be doable. I have a 28-foot ladder that will reach up there, and
awesome.
You know, we'll do it as safely as possible. Well, I'm looking forward to the project. We'll take a picture over here.
Okay.
I'll put it into this quote and send it to you with the other line items if you're interested for later or whatever.
Okay.
And we'll get that sent to you in a few minutes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Have a good one.
You too, man. So we'll see how this goes, and hopefully it'll be a good thing, and maybe in the future we can even grow into providing Christmas lights as a service.
two things. Have you been contacting customers or like neighbors around your existing customers once you're done a project? Do you go introduce yourself or anything? Nothing like that. Because yeah, the door hangers will be really helpful for that, because I would say like 5 to 10 houses around every single customer that you get completed, you should literally just give them all an instant quote. And I'm assuming that's right on there. You're just giving like the price for cleaning their house then?
Yeah, I'll break it down like our 4 main services and
just give an option for which are those for? So house cleaning.
Yep, roof and house soft wash, gutter clean out, and concrete wash.
Yeah, like I think if you do that, it'll probably take you, an extra 15, 20 minutes on each project. Mm-hmm. But I think out of those 8 to 10 people, there's going to be one that's like, oh yeah, like their house looks amazing. Like they're literally sitting next to your before and after picture. And so that's a huge win. Okay. The second thing is, inside of House Call Pro, do you have the ability to email existing customers?
I've been reaching out to my existing customers via text magic. Okay. I could also see about the House Call Pro email option.
When you say texting, are you reaching out to past customers or just the ones that you currently have, like kind of throughout a project okay. So when you reach back into say like the archive, someone you did service for 6, 8, 10 months ago, what are you texting them? Just like, do you want it again? And how is that process initiated? Just, is it House Call Pro reminding you to contact them, or how does that work?
Right. It's not on an automated system to remind me. It's just me thinking about it. And right now, like I've sent out text from, June, August, October, and I'm ready to send out another one.
And is that a blast? Is that a blast to everybody?
It is. That's cool. You can pick a template. So it'll say, hey, Susie or Joe or whatever. This is Jim with New Again House Wash. It's been a while. Wanted to see if you need any of our services. Here they are. Please feel free to reach out via my number or website. So it customizes their first name in there, so it doesn't feel as spammy. Although it does come from a different number than my cell number, but.
If you're going to send those messages out, what I would recommend, what we saw really work a lot better, is just choosing one service to really zero in on. Instead of it being like, hey, this is Jim, like, do you need anything done? It's more like, hey, this is the perfect time to do your gutters before the fall season. If you'd like your gutters, respond back with the word yes, and we'll get you an estimate by tomorrow.
Will and Laryssa have always tried to take care of their employees. And one of the best things you can do to take care of your people is have a compensation package that aligns the incentives of the owner and the employee, and make sure that there's certain bonuses involved that your managers are incentivized to really go for it. Let's check in with them and see if they figured that out.
As you can see here, there are a lot of yard signs, but this is what the sign looks like. We basically have our phone number. We're hiring because we're always trying to market for new employees. So we're really just marketing to simple reoccurring services that can allow us to, be more profitable. So I was doing some thinking after rewatching one of the videos, and it's really interesting. When we were on vacation, I literally worked for 20 minutes the whole, I think 7 days we were gone. So recently I handed off the payroll responsibility, the income and expense sheet responsibility, and really managing the disgruntled customer responsibility of like really how to handle those things. So it was really awesome that all I did, we had Elizabeth put together payroll and everything, and all I did was kind of review it and make sure everything looked good and there wasn't kind of anything out of the ordinary or anything like that. So for that stress test, that was awesome. Like, I am super excited, super pumped. I want to make sure that because we are shifting to profit mode, that I can pay them really well and really take care of them, because they're our core. And like, I just want to make sure that we can really take care of them, but I also want to sleep well at night and not be stressed out about like payroll and stuff like that. I don't like hourly, and maybe it is or isn't, but like having that incentive of performance. Like,
what I would recommend is, if the goal of this location is profit, incentivize them based upon profit, because they're the deciding factor of the success of this location. And what I would recommend is to sit back and say, okay, say this year it did, after paying you, let's just say 60 grand. Well, if I gave 25% of that away to my executive admin and sales, that's going to be looking at 15 grand extra off my profits are. Well, that means I need to now make 75 to 80,000 just to get what I made last year in profit. I have an inclination just by the fact that we're cutting up, buying a couple trucks, the extra marketing, and potentially raising prices on some of our services, that's going to get far eclipsed. Give yourself an owner's salary. You'll have to do this from a legal, like a tax perspective. It could be small, even if it's like 30 grand a year, but give yourself a salary that is above the profit line. That, like, this includes your time. Like, if you're spending more time in this location too, it should be more. It should be like 50 or 60. Whatever that number is, that's going to go in wages above the profit line. Anything at the bottom, you're going to give them a chunk of. What you're comfortable giving to them is really up to you. What I would recommend doing is doing some sort of graduated over the course of 3 years. The first year, you're going to get 7% of profit. The next year, you're going to get 8% of profit. The third year, you're going to get 10% of profit. I'm just giving those examples. You could run the math of what you're comfortable with and run them based upon this year's kind of profit numbers and see, okay, is an extra 10 grand going to be incentive enough for them to stay? Because what you don't want is that number to be like so minimal, it just doesn't mean anything. What I would do is quarterly, don't do monthly, because there's going to be months where you potentially might lose money.
Right. Yeah. Cause like currently right now we're paying like hourly for them, $20.50, which I think is a little low because sometimes the guys out in the field are like making a lot more. The other thing too is like we kind of go down to 4-day work weeks in the winter just because there's like less and we kind of get more work done in 4 days. Their paychecks are kind of getting lower and things like that. So it's like, I don't know if we should really shift over to salary per se too soon because we are only working 4 days a week, but I also want to take care of them and make sure like
I would keep on hourly as long as you possibly can.
Okay.
I've always seen the salary if it goes south. Like I hate salary. So I would recommend if you want to guard those things, number one, on that 3-year graduated scale, give them bumps in base pay. So it might be like year one, $21, then $23, then $25. The reason I know that graduated scale will work well is because by year 3, they're going to think if they're still with you, it'll be so dialed in, it'll be way more profitable. So give them incentive baked into stay by increasing their base pay and the percentage of profit that they're getting. So that way they have the consistency of a base pay going up. They know that if they stay, and they know they have more and more upside of a profitable business, which is the main thing you want them to focus on, profitability. So what I want to do for this week going forward and kind of the homework is let's break down that step by step from the time that a lead would come in from Indeed to the time that they would be onboarded and trained. Not just like you got a job, but like the onboarding process. And then the training process, but the hiring part is, it sounds like that's the big equation here. So if you could just give me, like literally just think in your mind, like, okay, when they, after Indeed, I usually text them or I email them or I call them, whatever those steps are, just list them out. And then I want you to share that with me on the next call on next Friday, and we'll go through that together.
Awesome. Sounds good. Cool.
All right, brother, you're making some headway. Good for you. Let's go.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.
I'm also happy that he's thinking a lot about Alex and his admin person and how he can incentivize them to stay in the business. Because ultimately the business has 2 goals: be very profitable, and he doesn't have to work in it very much. If those things are to be achieved, you have to have great managers managing the daily operations of the business.
Okay, so last time we checked in with Jim, he was going and doing a Christmas light installation. He's now going to go back and check in on that job at night, and something very bad happens.
We got home from church just a few minutes ago, and we're actually on the street of the customer's house that we put the Christmas lights on her house earlier today. We told her that we'd be back to check it out and see how they look, so I'm just going to drive the rest of the way on her street and pull in her driveway.
I expected colorful lights for some reason.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
No, you can put that check through anytime because it's already ready to go. So.
Good? What I'll do is get it tight, and then I just pull. You just let it coast right now. Okay. And then if I need your help, then
okay. Here we go. Get ready, Bill.
Well, let me get it tight.
Okay.
All right, let me just pull you.
Okay.
Take care. Y'all have a good one.
Way off.
That tire was deep in there.
Yeah. I was way off.
You have a great night.
Thank you, Bill. You too, man. Well, thank you. We didn't have to get a tow truck.
One thing Jim needs to focus on is which services he's going to focus on when it comes to his marketing. Instead of trying to be a jack of all trades, master of none, he needs to focus on a few key services, core competencies that he can focus on his marketing, his advertising, and then getting really good at making sure he's efficient at those specific services.
Jerry and I have been working towards print media, like being specific about fall and winter services on yard signs. Me and another guy, like this tree service guy that I reached out to on the phone, like, man, we've got yard signs everywhere, and people aren't really responding right now. Even double them up, like you go from having the space for one message to doubling that by putting two signs one on top of the other.
Yeah, like the classic example is like when a waiter comes to your table at the end of a meal and is like, hey, would you like dessert? 99% of people are just primed to say, no, thank you. Right? If they came to your table though and said, would you like a piece of our raspberry cheesecake? Immediately now you're starting to think about the cheesecake. You're not thinking about whether or not I want to have dessert. And so the whole principle when you have things like yard signs or door hangers is don't just make it a bland, this is all of our services, this is everything we can offer. You're basically saying, do you want dessert? The goal is, do you want a piece of raspberry cheesecake? And that what that means is you have to be smart enough as a marketer to realize what is the most likely piece of pie that they're going to want. In this case, what type of service is the thing they're going to need the most? So if we're going into fall, is that gutters? If that is going to spring, is that concrete and soft wash like on the house? So really trying to figure out which one of the four. Although I believe that when you do a door hanger, you might as well put all four on there because you're literally already at the house. But when it comes to more broad-based marketing, like if you're going to do door hangers across the whole city, or if you're going to do yard signs, I would highly recommend, or even like the text messages and the emails. These are very direct. You're targeting your most warmest customers. We might as well ask them, do they want a specific service? The response rate on that will be 5 times higher, I guarantee it. For this week, we still need to do the next door in the Facebook group. So bad. But we need to do that again. Next 2 things though is let's send out the text message, but try to be more direct with a specific service. Mostly the one that you feel is going to be the one with the most need and demand right now. And let's just be like, hey, this is the time of year for this service. We're booking out this fall for this. Respond with a yes if you'd like a quote by tomorrow for this one service. Second thing is let's try to get those door hangers at least designed and ordered. And I'd rather you go in the direction of instant quote with all the services for now than trying to get 4 different door hangers because the budget is the way it is. Let's just go with one. My main thing is not like let's canvas the neighborhood. Mine is the 5 to 10 neighbors around your existing customers are literally positioned to see your before and after picture for the next week or so. And that's all they're going to think about. That they're your like second warmest customers. You got your warmest customers, which are going to be the ones you've done service for in the past. The section below that is people that have literally seen you. That is we should exhaust both of those tiers before getting into the third tier, which is completely cold, never heard of you, have no idea who Jim is, never seen his name, never seen his truck. Those are the people we should go for last. And I feel like we haven't tapped the number 1 fully in terms of going after it with a more specific service. And then tier 2 is using the door hangers to really go after the neighbors of your existing client.
Sounds good to me.
All right, brother.
I'm hoping Jim is able to take into consideration the fact that you should stop thinking about the next shiny customer and getting new customers, but rather focus on the existing customers that he has, upsell those, and then second tier customers are the ones that are next door, the neighbors that have already seen his work, and he can sell them much easier than going after the new shiny customer. And for many of us, we'll spend a lot of money and time and energy and spending door hangers and all the rest of it, making websites for new shiny customers, all the while the past customers and the neighbors of our customers sit neglected when they're the easiest sales to be had.
Hey boot campers, hope you enjoyed the episode. Mr. Claus and I, the next couple weeks, are going to be delivering the packages across the world for Christmas. So Merry Christmas, and for the next couple weeks, we're going to be busy. We're going to be having a conference, delivering all sorts of gifts there. So no more boot camp episodes for a couple weeks, but if you haven't signed up for the conference yet, please, mikeandys.com/summit. If they're not sold out already by the time you're watching this, please book one. Get one for a friend, for a spouse, for a manager. It's going to be a great event. You might even get a gift from this guy. Next week on Business Boot Camp.
You as a general manager at this location are not going to be able to handle everything that's going on.
Oh, hey.
The goal is to not grow. We're not growing.
That's why I have these events.
Worst case scenario.
Cart number 1 with Laryssa or cart number 2 with William?
So after Business Boot Camp, we have decided to not continue to grow. So they're gonna get a $4,600 bonus check. That's how you take care of people.
We just can't keep doing it like this because it's not working.